If you would have told me last year that in 2024 we would get albums from Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Childish Gambino, and we'd have one of the craziest rap beefs of all time since Pac and Biggie between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, I probably would have told you, wow, that's really cool. 2024 is one of those years that you just know is gonna live in history, like 2016 and other years like that. It was just so crazy all year, and it always felt like something was going on, whether in music or in politics or in pop culture. Everything about 2024 was insane. But in this video, I want to talk about the music side of 2024, more specifically rap, and how it is, in my opinion, the greatest year in rap history. Which can sound like a crazy take, but I just don't see any year that's even close to this in rap. So in this year, I want to go through every single month of 2024, starting in January and then ending in December, and talk about all the crazy stuff that's happened in rap. Starting with January. January was pretty chill. We got The American Dream by 21 Savage, which was a pretty good album. Red Rum became a really popular song, and there's a bunch of other super good songs on this album. And I know this isn't like music dropping, but we also have Playboi Carti and Aiden Ross's stream, where Carti went on and basically didn't say a word for like 20 minutes and then dipped. And then he also dropped that Backroom song back in January, which was pretty fire. Then in February, we got Vultures 1 from Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, which got some hate at the time and also some praise. Carnival became this super popular song that, I'm not gonna lie, I liked when it first came out. I know now it's like the TikTok Riz party thing and everyone thinks it's corny. At the time, Carnival was fire, okay? Everyone thought it was fire at the time. It was definitely not even close to Kanye's top 10 greatest albums at all. It's probably honestly his worst one. And it's also kind of hard to listen to it because of the whole I Like Hitler thing. Then Quadeca, who most people know as a YouTube rapper, dropped one of the best albums from 2024. Scrapyard by Quadeca was an amazing rap and kind of pop album. Not pop, I don't even know how to describe it. What's the word to describe what this album is? Classical? Whatever you want to call it, this album was amazing and one of my favorites, and shout out to Quadeca. He got a 9 from Fantano. Yeat had a complete reinvention with his album 2093, which was so good. Breathe became a super popular song from it, and it was just a really cool experimental rap album and something that I personally didn't expect from somebody like Yeat. And then March is when things got really crazy. Schoolboy Q dropped his album Blue Lips, which was fire and should have been nominated for a Grammy, and it did not for some reason. But the biggest thing that came out of March that everybody was talking about was Metro Boomin and Future's album We Don't Trust You, which had the song Like That on it. I'll talk about Like That in a second, but this album itself was pretty fire. They had some really good songs on it, like Type Shit. They had other really good songs that I can't remember right now, but easily the biggest song to come from this project was Like That, which featured Kendrick Lamar. And on this song, Kendrick Lamar dissed Drake and J. Cole for their song First Person Shooter. I'm sure you've heard this story 1,000 times, but quickly I'll just go over it. In the song First Person Shooter, J. Cole was like, "It's the big three. Is it Aubrey or me? We the big three, like we started the league." And Kendrick was like, "No, fuck you. Ain't no fucking big three. It's just big me." And he kind of dissed J. Cole in it, but he was mainly dissing Drake. And it was just a insane moment. Kendrick and Drake being the two biggest names in rap. It was crazy hearing one of them go at the other. But surprisingly, to start April, J. Cole was the first to reply. He dropped an album called Might Delete Later, which a lot of people liked. I thought it was okay. It's grown on me a little bit since I first listened to it, but overall, I still don't think it's that good. Like probably J. Cole's worst project since like one of his earlier ones. Like I don't like it that much at all. But the outro song on this album was called 7 Minute Drill, and it was a full Kendrick Lamar diss track. It was cool. It was all right. He called To Pimp a Butterfly mid and stuff. Like he was kind of going for the very surface level, like just reaching for stuff. He called him short a couple times. Like it was cool and it was fun and it was an exciting moment. It was crazy because it was like, wow, this battle was actually about to finally happen. J. Cole was sending the first actual diss track out. But then a couple days later, before Kendrick Lamar said a word, J. Cole went on stage and apologized for the diss track. This dude said sorry. And I get it, J. Cole's trying to be on like his humble, like respective time, whatever. That was not the time for that. I know people look back and they're like, wow, good thing he stayed out of the beef. It was so bad. The point is, J. Cole sent out a diss track and then apologized. So now it was really up to the two, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And it took a little bit, but Drake finally dropped his diss track, Push Ups. And I thought Push Ups was a fire song. Were the disses that crazy? No, but it was a really good track and just harsh and mean. And as somebody that, I'll be honest, before this started, I thought Drake was gonna win this. I have to swallow that and handle that, and I know I'm probably gonna get clowned for that, but it's just I thought Drake was gonna win. I know the energy he had come with before, and I knew what happened with Pusha T, and I was like, there's no way this dude lets this happen again. Spoiler alert, he let it happen again. But I thought Push-Ups was a fire song, and before Kendrick could even reply, Drake decided to drop another diss track called Tailor Made Freestyle. And in the song, he used AI versions of Tupac and Snoop Dogg just to clown Kendrick. Of course, because Kendrick is this West Coast guy and is kind of disrespecting like his idols, he had an AI Tupac voice being like, Kendrick, we need ya!
The West Coast savior.
And it was pretty much just like him trolling Kendrick because he had taken a little bit like to reply. It was so disrespectful, but at the time it was kind of funny. But this did not age very well for Drake and would end up probably being the worst decision he ever made. Because on literally the last day of April, on a Tuesday morning at 8:24 a.m. for Kobe, he dropped Euphoria, and Euphoria was a banger. Again, I wasn't honestly crazy about Euphoria at first just because the disses weren't that crazy, but this song aged so well. Like, he really called his shot so many times on this song and really predicted everything that was gonna happen, and it made it age very well. And the song is just a banger, like it's just a banger. Then at the beginning of May, Kendrick also dropped another song called 616 in LA. He just dropped it on Instagram, but it was this really good rap song just about kind of the whole situation. It was about him like talking to God and being like, yo, do I go to war? Do I go and do this? Then May 4th, Friday night, Drake drops Family Matters. And this was like his nuke. He's talking about Kendrick's family in it. He's going at everybody. There's 3 different beat switches. It's like 7 minutes long. This song was like Drake emptying the clip. He was talking about the red button on Scary Hours, what was it, 2? He was talking about if I press this red button, everybody's cooked. This was his red button. And his red button was followed by 30 minutes later, Kendrick Lamar dropping Meet the Grams, which is one of the most sadistic, creepy, messed up diss tracks I have ever heard in my entire life, and it was amazing. He literally goes through every member of Drake's family, from his mom to his kid to his dad to his alleged daughter, and it's over this like eerie piano. It's like a scary movie. Listening to the song is like watching a really messed up movie. And he literally dropped it right after Family Matters. Like, we didn't even have time to process Drake's diss track because immediately Kendrick dropped his, and it was 10 times more insane than Drake's biggest red button. So that was kind of the moment that Kendrick pretty much won the battle. And then the very next day, Kendrick Lamar drops Not Like Us, which would end up being the song of the summer. It's over this DJ Mustard beat that was meant to be a club banger song, and on it, he's talking about Drake being a PDF file downloader. The cover is Drake's house with a bunch of these red arrows with the people in it that basically just mean it's a sexual offender that lives there. And he literally made this like bop that everybody can dance to that's talking about Drake liking kids. It's insane. And it was pretty much the nail in the coffin for this whole beef. The next day, Drake dropped The Heart Part 6, which sucked. It was pretty much Drake like addressing the allegations and trying to clear up his name. And then he also sent this really weird diss about Mother I Sober, Kendrick's song off Mr. Morale, and he kind of missed the point of the whole song, so the diss just kind of didn't make sense. It just felt lousy and unprepared and just not well thought out. He spends the whole ending part just being like,
this could have been fun, this could have been a good diss, but you want to lie all the time.
And it's like, weren't you 2 diss tracks ago talking about Dave Free impregnating his wife and actually being the father of the kids? Like, I don't think you knew that either. I don't know, but it was a sad ending to it, and Kendrick won. Kendrick very clearly won the biggest diss battle of all time. And it's just one of those moments that I know I'm never going to forget. I'm gonna be 70 years old, sitting on the couch telling my grandkids about May 4th, 2024, when Drake dropped Family Matters, and then Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams right after, and then the next day he dropped Not Like Us. Like, that whole time, that whole April through May time is already so nostalgic. And I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about the beef, but it was just a really cool time. Following this, we got Valedictorian by Ian. I know right now Ian's getting clowned by everybody, but at the time in May when this dropped, Valedictorian was fire. I don't care what anybody says. Never Stop is a legitimately really good song. I know you could say that he's kind of biting the styles of a lot of people that did it before him. I understand that. But the music is good. I'm sorry. Then at the end of May, Vince Staples dropped his album Dark Times, which was again fire. Black and Blue was one of my favorite Vince Staples songs of all time and one of my most played songs from this year. And then there was June. June was kind of dry, to be honest. Following the Kendrick and Drake beef, Kendrick hosted a pop-out show where he pretty much just got all of the biggest California artists in one concert, and then he performed all of the Drake diss tracks from Like That to Euphoria, and then he performed Not Like Us 5 times in a row. And then Lupe Fiasco dropped this album called Samurai, which was this really like boom bap fire album. But besides that, there wasn't very much in June. Then in July, we got 3 really good albums. Action Bronson dropped his album, Johann Sebastian Baklava the Doctor. Action Bronson, I know, is not as popular as he should be, but as somebody that's liked Action Bronson for a while, I really like this album. And he dropped it the same day as Eminem dropped his album, The Death of Slim Shady. Now, before I say what I'm gonna say about this album, just for context, I grew up a huge Eminem fan. I had the posters, the CDs, 8 Mile was my favorite movie, I had 2 DVDs of it. Eminem was my favorite artist. I loved Eminem. This album sucked. I know y'all don't want to hear that. This album was terrible, and if it went to Grammy, I'm going to have a problem. There will be consequences. I get what he was trying to do with it, but the character Slim Shady has been dead for a while now. I guess if you're a really diehard Eminem fan, it was cool to hear it, and Temporary was a really good song off it. There's some good takeaways from it, but overall, the album was just not fun to listen to. Then Childish Gambino came back the week after and dropped his album Bando Stone and the New World, which is supposedly going to be the last Childish Gambino album, which is pretty sad. But this album was actually really good. I enjoyed a lot of it. Lithonia was another summer banger. I just remember the time that this album dropped so much, and it was just a good time. Songs like Step Beach, Lithonia, like I said, Dadvocate, like this album is full of really good songs, and it's probably one of Childish Gambino's best albums. Then in August, we got I Laid Down My Life For You by JPEG Mafia, which a lot of people think is close to being one of his best albums. As a Scaring the Hoes enjoyer, I really liked it. I'm not going to talk about this one much, but Kanye did drop Vultures 2, and I had some things to defend Vultures 1 with. I have none for Vultures 2. This album was actually terrible, and Kanye, please stop destroying your legacy. Drop Bully ASAP and make it fire, please. Speaking of dropping ASAP, ASAP Rocky was supposed to drop Don't Be Dumb this month, and he just never did. We also got Ultra 85 by Logic, which was actually a very good album. It was like a part 2 to my favorite album by him, The Incredible True Story, and it's really good actually. Logic has not had the best past couple years when it comes to dropping music, but this album was actually pretty good. And then to end off August, we got the first real replies since the beef from Drake. We got this 100 gigs thing, where he dropped a bunch of old like tour and studio clips and like 3 different songs. Most of them sucked. No Face was fire. Most people didn't even talk about these songs at all, but No Face was actually pretty good. Still just kind of wanted more from you, Drake, but you know what can you ask for? What can you do, you know? September kind of just felt like a filler month and almost kind of a lead up to October. Playboi Carti dropped All Red, which was this fire song that kind of sounded like Future a lot, but it was really fire. And Loki got me in the Halloween mood. And so did Timeless, which is a song by The Weeknd and Cardi, which was so good. Then in October, you know what I mean, my goat dropped. I know the beef was cool and it's going to be looked at as the craziest moment from 2024, but there was nothing I was more excited about all year than Chromacopia. Tyler the Creator dropped his album Chromacopia and it was so amazing and so unexpected and just like the craziest ending to 2024. He had been on like his 2-year space in between album run, and then randomly he's like, no, we're getting a fall October Tyler the Creator album, which was just crazy. And of course he delivered because he's the GOAT. Literally every song on this album was amazing. Saint Chroma was amazing, Ratata was amazing, Noid was amazing, Darling I was amazing, Hey Jane was amazing, I Killed You was amazing, Judge Judy was amazing, Sticky was amazing, Take Your Mask Off was amazing, Tomorrow was amazing, Thought I Was Dead was amazing, Like Him was amazing, Balloon was amazing, I Hope You Find Your Way Home was amazing. It was just a great album. The lead up for the album, everything about Chromacopia was so cool and honestly my favorite moment from the whole year. Then there was November. We got Eternal It Take Two by Lil Uzi Vert, which was terrible. We got The Crossroads by Cordae, which was actually a really good album and honestly gave off a lot of Kanye vibes, and it was a really good project. The song Nothing's Promised was really good, but the real banger of November was Kendrick Lamar's surprise album, GNX. Following the beef, it seemed like Kendrick just kept taking dubs. He got the Super Bowl performance, he had the pop-out show, he just kept going crazy, and then he ended the year off dropping GNX, which was a amazing album. Completely unexpected and just so good. It felt so harsh and mean. It kind of felt like all of the vibes that he had shown during the beef. It was an amazing project. I know some people talk bad about it. It was so good. Really capped off the amazing year that Kendrick had as an artist. It's probably one of the most impressive individual rapper runs in one year of all time, if not the best. Hey Now was so good. Squabble Up was amazing. So many good songs. TV Off. He didn't just make it all of the banger Not Like Us type songs. Like there's really good rapping performances on it. And some of the most introspective, great concept songs we've ever gotten from him. And that's about where this video is going to end off. It is December 10th as I'm recording this, and there hasn't been many big drops in December so far, and I don't think we're gonna get any in the next, 15 days? No, 21 days. So I think GNX by Kendrick is a pretty good way to end off the video. 2024 was such an amazing year, and again, a year I'm just never going to forget. The experiences and moments that it brought me from just listening to these songs for the first time. Like, I will never forget listening to songs like Meet the Grams for the first time, Not Like Us for the first time, Scrapyard by Quadeca for the first time. That album was insane, I don't care. Hearing Eminem come back, even though it sucked, it was pretty cool. Listening to that Childish Gambino album was amazing. Chromacopia was crazy. Getting that surprise Kendrick album and listening to that was crazy. The whole year was just filled with all of these fun, exciting moments, and it really brought back the enjoyment and fun that was in rap at one time. And 2025 might be cool, but I don't see any year anytime soon coming close to 2024. I just don't see how it would. But let me know what you guys think. What was your guys' favorite albums and moments from this year? And is this gonna go down as the greatest year in rap history? Let me know what y'all think, but that is all I've got for today. Thank you all for watching. And with that being said, I'm out of here, and I'll see you on the next one.